Hello, fellow breeders. Have you ever watched your chickens on a cold or cloudy day and felt like they're lacking a bit of energy? It's as if they were turned off. This happened to me a while ago. I noticed my layers weren't the same and egg production was dropping for no apparent reason. Looking for answers, I didn't go to the veterinary pharmacy. Instead, I went to my own kitchen, and there I rediscovered a treasure many of us tend to overlook. Today, I want to talk to you about a wonderful root, ginger, and how this hidden ingredient completely transformed the health of my coop. Get ready because what this little root can do is something surprising. Before starting this story, I invite you to give a like to the video so more people can discover this natural secret. Now let's begin. I remember the first time I decided to use ginger. It was terribly cold and my chickens were huddled in a corner with their feathers ruffled, trying to conserve heat. I felt so bad seeing them like that and thought about how good a ginger tea feels for me when I'm cold. So I reasoned, if it works for me, why not for them? Ginger has that unique ability to generate heat from the inside out, activating blood circulation almost immediately. It's not just a matter of temperature, it's a matter of comfort. When a chicken is cold, it spends all its energy on warming up and stops laying eggs. By giving them a bit of this root, it's like we're putting a little invisible sweater on them inside. I noticed that shortly after consuming it, they started moving more and going out to the yard even in cool weather. That physical activity is vital. A chicken that moves is a chicken that looks for food, scratches, and stays active. Ginger acts as an ignition spark on freezing mornings, helping blood reach their combs and legs, preventing them from suffering from low temperatures. Since then, whenever the weather changes abruptly, ginger is my first line of defense. I don't wait for them to get sick. I use it to keep them warm and happy. And the best part is that, by being more comfortable, their bodies can focus on other important functions like breathing well, which leads us to the next key point. Speaking of breathing, we all know how distressing it is to hear a chicken sneeze or notice it's having trouble breathing. There was a time when humidity really affected my coop, and I feared the worst. That's when I learned that ginger is an incredible ally for the respiratory system. It works as a natural expectorant, helping to clear any mucus that might be bothering their throats or nostrils. Imagine that ginger cleans your bird's air pipes. When I gave it to my chickens that time, I noticed those strange breathing noises started to disappear. It's like when we have a mint or ginger candy and feel like the air flows better. For them, it's an immense relief to be able to breathe effortlessly. Moreover, good breathing is fundamental to avoid more serious diseases. If the lungs and air sacs are clean, bacteria have fewer opportunities to settle in. Ginger helps keep those pathways clear, allowing the chicken to oxygenate its blood well and feel strong. The interesting thing is that it doesn't cure an advanced disease on its own, but it prevents many daily respiratory problems. My chickens went from having their beaks open searching for air to breathing calmly and silently. And of course, when a chicken breathes well and feels warm, the next thing that happens is that hunger returns with a vengeance. Continuing with the story, after those cold and humid days, I noticed that some of my older chickens didn't want to eat. They would approach the feeder, peck a little, and leave. That worried me a lot because if they don't eat, egg production and health take a nosedive. Ginger, friends, has a spicy aroma and flavor that works as a natural appetite stimulant. I decided to mix a little fresh ginger into their wet food. The change was almost magical. That strong, characteristic smell woke up their senses. It's like when we smell delicious food and our mouths water. Ginger activates the chicken's gastric juices and tells their brains, it's time to eat. Seeing them eat with gusto again was a huge relief. They weren't just eating to eat, but doing so with energy, searching for the last grain. Regaining appetite is the first step to recovering a downcast chicken. And this root achieved it in a gentle and natural way, without forcing them. By eating better, their bodies started receiving the nutrients they needed to recover. But it's not enough for the food to enter the body. What matters is how it's processed inside. And this is where ginger performs another of its great wonders, helping all that food to be used to its fullest potential. Many times we don't think about our birds' digestion until we see problems like impacted crops or strange droppings. I used to think that if they ate, everything was fine, But I learned that ginger helps the digestive system work like clockwork. It helps the crop empty and the intestines better absorb vitamins and minerals. There was one chicken in particular that always seemed to have digestive problems. She was a bit thin despite eating well. By integrating ginger into her diet, she slowly started gaining weight. The root helps soothe irritation in the stomach and intestines, allowing food to pass smoothly and be digested without causing pain or inflammation. This is crucial because 70% of a chicken's health is in its gut. If digestion is good, the chicken is strong. Ginger reduces gas and prevents that feeling of heaviness that sometimes leaves them lethargic after eating. It's like giving them a digestive tea after a banquet. By having efficient digestion, the chicken makes better use of the calcium and proteins in its feed. And friends, guess what all that extra calcium and protein they're now absorbing turns into? Exactly, it turns directly into the production of what we look for most: eggs. We've reached the point that interests us all: eggs. When I started using ginger regularly, it wasn't overnight, but within a few weeks I noticed something different in the nesting box. The quantity of eggs stabilized, even in times when laying would normally drop. It's not magic, it's pure biology aided by nature. With the chicken at a good temperature, breathing well, eating with appetite, and digesting perfectly, its body has an energy surplus. The body allocates that extra energy to egg formation. Ginger provides antioxidants that keep the chicken's reproductive organs healthy, allowing the laying cycle to be more consistent. Additionally, I noticed an improvement in quality. The yolks looked firmer and the whites denser. It's logical to think that if the chicken is healthy inside, the product it gives us will be of higher quality. I stopped seeing deformed eggs or fragile shells as frequently, which was a great victory for my small operation. It's a chain of well-being. Ginger doesn't manufacture eggs, but it creates the perfect health scenario so the chicken can express its maximum genetic potential. And to keep that production high, we need our friends to be protected against external threats. And that's where their defense system comes in. Raising chickens is a constant battle against bacteria and viruses that we can't see. Before, I lived worried about disease outbreaks, but ginger became my preventive ally. This root is loaded with antioxidants and antimicrobial compounds that strengthen the bird's immune system in an impressive way. Think of it as training for their defenses. By consuming ginger, the chicken's body is more alert and prepared to fight any intruder. I remember a season where neighboring coops had problems with mild avian flu, and my chickens stayed surprisingly robust and healthy. I'm not saying they are immortal, but they do become much more resistant. A chicken with a strong immune system can fight a mild infection on its own, without us having to intervene with strong medications. Ginger gives them that extra advantage, that shield that protects them day by day. It's an enormous peace of mind for a breeder to know you're giving them something natural that makes them strong from the inside out. And this strength isn't just against viruses. It also helps a lot when the chickens are reaching a certain age or suffering from pains we don't see at first glance. I have some chickens that are already grandmothers in the coop. I love them very much, but I noticed that over time they started walking slower, as if their legs hurt, especially on damp mornings. Ginger is a potent, natural anti-inflammatory, very similar to how ibuprofen works, but without the chemicals. I decided to closely observe one of my favorite chickens, Colorado, who was limping a bit. After some time consuming the ginger tea in her water, I saw her scratching again with more enthusiasm. Ginger helps reduce inflammation in the joints, relieving that dull pain that prevents them from moving freely. This is vital not only for old chickens, but also for heavy breeds that suffer a lot with their legs. If we take away the pain, we give them back their quality of life. A chicken without pain is a chicken that goes to the feeder, drinks water, and socializes with the others. Seeing them run toward me again when I bring food, without that previous stiffness, was one of the best rewards. Taking care of their physical well-being is our responsibility, and ginger helps us ensure they have an active and happy life. And speaking of happiness, mental calm is just as important. It might not seem like it, but chickens get stressed very easily. A barking dog, a heavy storm, or simply introducing a new chicken to the group can cause nervous chaos. Stress cuts egg laying immediately. I discovered that ginger has a calming and adaptogenic effect, which means it helps the body handle stressful situations. One time we had to do repairs on the coop. The noise of the hammers had them terrified. I prepared a ginger infusion for them during those days to help them cope with the scare. I noticed they were calmer, less flighty, and returned to normal much faster than on previous occasions. Ginger helps regulate cortisol levels, the stress hormone. When the chickens are relaxed, the whole coop flows better. There's less pecking among them, fewer fights, and a much more harmonious environment. It's like giving them a relaxing tea after a difficult day. Maintaining peace in the coop is key to success. A stressed chicken is an open door to disease, so besides calming them down, Ginger continues working inside them, creating a hostile environment for some very annoying enemies. Internal parasites. No one wants to talk about worms or parasites, but it's a reality in breeding. I used to deworm with chemicals frequently, which is sometimes necessary, but it's aggressive. I learned that Ginger helps keep the parasitic load low. It's not that it kills all the worms instantly, but it makes the chicken's intestine a very unpleasant place for them. The spicy taste and the compounds in ginger irritate the parasites and make it hard for them to adhere to the intestinal walls. By using it regularly, I noticed my chickens stayed cleaner inside and their droppings were healthier. It's a form of constant and gentle prevention. This allowed me to leave the use of strong chemical dewormers in the past, which is better for the health of the birds' livers and for the quality of the eggs we eat. It's a natural control strategy that works hand in hand with cleaning the coop. Having an intestine free of invaders means all the food goes to the chicken and not to the worms. Now you're surely wondering, this all sounds great, but how do I give it to my chickens? Let's look at the preparation, which is easier than you think. The first time I wanted to give them ginger, I threw a whole piece to them, and they looked at me as if to say, "What is this?" I learned that presentation is key. The most effective way, and the one I always use, is making an infusion or tea. It's very simple. I take a piece of fresh root, about the size of my thumb, and crush or grate it well. Then I put that in a liter of boiling water and let it steep until it cools. That concentrate is then mixed with their drinking water. The smell that fills the kitchen is delicious, and when I pour it into their waterers, the water takes on a soft golden color. They usually like the flavor, but sometimes you have to get them used to it little by little. Another way that works very well for me is grating fresh ginger and mixing it directly with some wet food like cooked rice or chopped vegetables. When mixed with food, they eat it without a second thought. The important thing is that it be fresh ginger, since the dry powder, while it works, has lost many of its living properties. It's a simple routine that takes me no more than 5 minutes, but the benefits last all day. However, like everything in life and animal husbandry, you have to be careful with the amounts. Ginger is potent and the dosage must be respected. Here I want to be very honest with you. More is not always better. At first, excited by the results, I made the mistake of making the ginger too strong every day. I noticed some chickens stopped drinking water because it stung too much. Ginger is spicy and strong, and if we overdo it, we can irritate their digestive system instead of healing it. The golden rule I learned is moderation. We don't need the water to burn, just to have the properties. A gentle dilution is enough. If the water smells too strong for you, it's probably too strong for them. We want them to drink more water, not less. So the flavor should be subtle. I also learned that it shouldn't be given every day without a break. I use it as a supplement 2 or 3 times a week. It's ideal. Or for a whole week if I see the weather's very bad, and then I rest. The body needs balance, and we don't want to get the organism used to a constant stimulus. Observing your chickens is the best measure. They will tell you if they like it or if you cross the line. Respecting the dose ensures that ginger remains a medicine and not a nuisance. And when you achieve that balance, the long-term results are wonderful. To close this story of discovery, I want to tell you how my chickens are today. After months of including ginger in their diet regularly and moderately, the difference is remarkable. Their combs have a bright, intense red color, which is the best indicator of good circulation in general health. The plumage shines more. They look active, curious, and full of life. Egg production is constant, and, most importantly, I have greatly reduced my visits to the vet for respiratory or digestive problems. Ginger didn't turn my chickens into super chickens. It simply allowed them to be as healthy as possible naturally. Seeing them run through the yard healthy and strong gives me enormous satisfaction. I know I'm doing something good for them using something that comes from the earth. It's a small root, cheap and easy to get, but with a giant impact on the life of our coop. I encourage you to try it, observe, and experiment with your own birds. Nature is wise, and sometimes the most effective solutions are the simplest. Ginger has earned a permanent place in my poultry medicine cabinet, and I hope in yours too. Well, friends, I hope this story about ginger is very useful to you and that you feel encouraged to try it with your feathered friends. At the end of the day, seeing our chickens healthy and happy is the best reward for all the effort we put in. It's a small gesture of love that they return to us many times over. If this story about the power of ginger has changed the way you care for your birds, please subscribe and like our channel. We are unearthing the secrets of nature that others have tried to ignore. Cultivate the well-being of your coop and sow a stronger future. The next treasure of natural wisdom will open very soon. Until next time.